Welcome to this episode of the Fireside Chat, where we today will be discussing 10 easy steps to hide a body. I'm sorry, that's the wrong tab. I would like to mention this ongoing Kickstarter that we happen to go on at the moment, the super duper mega powerful ultimate Viking Anthology, where you can find several books on different things about, Vikings lore, written fiction in our own historically fictionist world. And I'm going to link the link down in the chat right now if anyone is interested. And so Andrew, a long time no talk.
I
How
know,
have you
since
been?
last night.
I know, it's
Pretty
like
good,
it's been a whole 24 hours at this point. So 12 hours. I'm bad at time.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We had a little bit of news that we could share with whoever's watching. We've got our print files are getting updated already on Drive-Thru RPG. So there are some people that are saying, "Hey, how come I can't redeem my coupons for or just buy a print copy?" Because we already got some new files with the addendum pages. So the addendum pages are the ones that we usually put with the playmats, the cutouts for the mini playmat versions. You know, the ones that we have in the rules now. So all of that's in the back of the book. So we're going to put that in with the print version of the book as well. So that's going in there. So the print one might be offline for a couple of days while that kind of works its way through the system. Who knows how long that's going to be. Oh my God, Aaron, man, the delays right now with the supply chain have been out of this world. I've never seen delays like this in my life.
Is that where a lot of your hair's gone? Basically, like, is it basically been from the stress of what's going on?
Everything's turning white here instead of like brown and red down there, but everything's turning like salt and pepper.
I mean, you still pull off the salt and pepper pretty good, but that's I can understand. I mean, especially with COVID and everything, it's just so hard to like deal with the transition of like how the world industry just works in this day and age. So it sucks, but I'm happy that at least we're able to adjust to a certain degree.
Yeah, I had a print proof that I had ordered at the same time as for myself for another set of eyes and ears down in the States, and they just received it, I think, 2 days ago. And I'd been following this tracking, and it had been stuck in a Cincinnati shipping hub for something like a month.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, I understand. It's probably a lot harder to get people who are like willing to do this stuff. It's just like I'm just thinking back to how it used to be, like back in the old days, and how like I'd get shipping from like across the world in like 2 days.
Yeah. And I was thinking, because I'm in Canada, it would get to him sooner. So I was thinking of the backers, like, okay, I'll do 2 print proofs. One's going to go to the U.S., one's going to go to Canada. And then the one in the U.S., well, he's going to take a look at it. We're going to go over it with like a webcam and I'll okay it. And then we can go ahead and just pull the trigger for the print run. But I got it like weeks before him. And I don't know, it's just everything's out of whack. So, yeah, I don't know, chat. If you guys been feeling that same thing when you ordered things for Thanksgiving or the holidays? Are you going to get it in time? That's a big question mark.
Yeah, and it also adds like even just thinking of stuff like Amazon and all that. Like I do quite a bit of my Christmas shopping typically through that. I don't even know if that's going to be nearly as efficient anymore. So I honestly
Order
might
now.
go like a brick and mortar store for the first time in almost 10 years to do my shopping this year. Which
but it's good. You support local. It's a good excuse to support local because all of these businesses, because none of them got shuttered during the pandemic, right? So 18 months, all the big box stores were open, like the Walmart in my town was open, but all the small mom and pop shops were actually forced to close for months at a time. And like, where's the justice there? Like, what, people can only shop there and not somewhere else because what? There's not enough space. You can do social distancing. You have lines outside the store to get in. And like the Costco's were open. And so everyone's been ordering from, Amazon throughout the entire pandemic, and Bezos is now launching himself to the moon and stuff. So, and the little guys, the little shops need your help. So yeah, that's my messaging to everyone.
I think we should just take all the billionaires and just put them in space. They want to go there, just put them up there
and leave them there.
Exactly. They want to be in space so bad, just send them out. It's like, they'll figure it out. They'll bring their money with them, and if anything, that might be good for the economy. And that's how trickle down economics works, I think. So talking about the Kickstarter, which is kind of a big thing that we have going on right now. We just finished Children of Eero, and we're actually getting that wrapped out, and that's basically the proof print that you were talking about earlier, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Ed's work. Let's talk about a little bit about the other one. So we have two comics in this entire basically box set. We have three novels. One of them is Ed's, because Ed is insane and he did both a setting and a novel. So let's talk a little bit about the novels. What exactly are those about, and just kind of give me the kind of elevator pitch in a nutshell about them.
Yeah, so I've actually done 3 updates so far on the Kickstarter for 3 of those 5 that you just mentioned. So I'll try to do them in the same order that I've already put them out there. So the first one that I put out there was Airbus Saga. This is a graphic novel that Jonathan and I started, and then I brought Andy on board from the Saga thing as a co-author with me on this project. And so this happened like days before the Kickstarter, because when I started looking at all the stretch goals of bringing on all these guest authors that were going to write sagas for the Athcliath RPG, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a lot of project management work for me, because there's like another dozen writers, and that means I need to get all these all the information to them. I need to get editing for them. I'm like the guy in the chef's hat running around and running this 3-ring circus. So I said, when we ended up doing that fireside chat with Andy and John, the Saga Thing guys, I remember Andy's eyes just lighting up when we started talking about Airbus Saga. That was so close to his heart.
I'm not surprised. I really am not. Like, the fact that he basically jumped on that.
Yeah, and I said, Andy, I could definitely use your help, because poor Jonathan is waiting on me for to feed him the next page and the next content, and a list of all the characters who can start kind of in his head trying to get what they're going to look like. Because he wants kind of a visual dictionary, which is very smart, because he's very good at facial expressions.
His facial expressions are beautiful. It's what honestly attracted me to his work in general. It's just the exaggerated expressions. Just it's a special place in my heart. So I get that.
And you get to see it blown up in the first update, or the second update for the Kickstarter. So I've taken 3 of the pages that he and I did over the end of the summer, and I've blown them up, because in the project page they show up as little thumbnails, and they're really hard to see. So in the update you can see them in their glorious size, full size. And so the 3 of us are going to tackle that project together. And Andy knows this saga inside and out, and he's actually even suggesting that we do this in 2 parts, like a part 1 and a part 2, because he thinks that we're going to leave out too much gold if we try to force this into one 32 or 40 page graphic novel. And that's about the size that we're trying to get it into, because we're trying to stick within a certain manufacturing or printing price point, so we can sell it for a certain amount, which is like a low cost. We don't want this to be like a boutique item for these graphic novels. So if it's 32 pages to 40 pages, he thinks it's probably going to be something we're going to go with 2. So I'm waiting to see him look at the scripting, and then we're going to work together to see what the pacing will look like for Airbus Saga. So I'm very happy to have him on board, and it's going to be a fun one. So the second sneak peek update that we put out on Kickstarter was the Misadventure of Mindel, Flood's daughter, and I got to remember the rest of the title, because the title just keeps going and going and going and going. And that was one of the gags too. I said, why don't we have like a just a front cover that looks like an illuminated manuscript, and you see a bunch of text, and when people look at it, they're like, what is this? And no, that's the title of the book. All of that text is the title of the book.
All the text, there's a block about this big on the cover, from my understanding, and that's actually the title.
Yeah,
I thought that was just text put in the background from the Bible or something to essentially just add to the aesthetic.
No, read it.
I'm not surprised. That sounds like Michelle. I've read the book. I've been reading the book. I'm not finished because.
But read the title. Read the title page.
I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but hang on.
Yeah. So she's bringing back Mindel. So Mindel is one of the characters, if you guys want to take a read and get a sneak peek what Mindel's all about. He's already had a couple of short stories written about him in Creatures from Fairy Tale and Myth. And he's basically one of these missionaries that goes as a recurring character and appears in several fairy tales where we showcase these creatures from fairy tale and myth. And he's kind of this like bumbling missionary that is completely oblivious to what's going around him. He always means well, and he'll talk up anyone, even the scariest of fairy tale monsters.
He is a cinnamon bun, and
Yeah.
he is such a pure person in such an unpure world.
And the misadventures are not his. It's whoever meets him usually ends up having the misadventures.
So I have the title here.
Go.
The Misadventures of Mindel. I can't pronounce this. Michelle's going to murder me. Plodsker, in which a missionary encounters heathen clans, murderous creatures, and people who in general dislike him and tries to convert the masses whilst I have to zoom in, it's getting smaller, while spreading the word of God and managing, I think that's managing his grace only the person who Mindel thinks is God is not really God, and the abbot doesn't really like him, and they're this sounds like Mindel chose the title himself, because I can't even get to the end of this. And the abbot doesn't like him, and there is the abbess. But well, you'll see. This is very Michelle. I honestly, legitimately thought this was just like additional text, but is this what's actually going to be in like your registry when you're selling the book? It's going to be like the misadventures and all that, or the misadventures, etc.
You can't miss it. It'll just be in the catalog. Just a huge paragraph of text as the title.
It's gonna scare so many people, but at the same time, maybe intrigue them. So it
will
scare intrigued.
I think it'll work. It'll work nicely that way. So Mindel's kind of like a mixture of Rincewind from Discworld with like the chaos that surrounds Gru the Wanderer from Gru Comics, if you guys remember that from the olden days. So that's one of the novels. Second novel, which we did a sneak peek of today, which is the Mistletoe Spear. So Stephen returns with Fjorn and his battle band of wild and crazy heroes that first appeared in Horn of the Kraken. So this novel we turned into 2 adventures for Fate of the Norns Ragnarok RPG, because it is such a wild tale of like roller coaster, hold on to your seat. The best way to describe it is always, it's a Viking heist. Picture Ocean's 11 meets Lord of the Rings. Like that's the mashup of those 2 movies. And Stephen knocks it out of the park again with another book where instead of the Horn of the Kraken, now it is the spear that killed Balder that they are after. And I don't want to ruin it with any spoilers, because if I start talking about it, well, we'll just go down the rabbit hole. So that's another great one. So I'm happy to have that one in the Kickstarter. And again, stretch goals could inevitably turn into sagas. Because yeah, his adventures really lend themselves well to RPG. Okay, so then third novel, which we talked about a little bit last night, which was with Ed, The One-Eyed King. So The One-Eyed King was Ed's foray into the Fate of the Norns universe, and he likes King Citric as a character and decided to write one about King Citric being the imposter king on the throne of Ireland from a seat of power in Athcliath. And he tells a story of several other characters that come into the city right at the beginning. And you follow the thread of their stories as they start winding together closer and closer and closer into one big plot ball that all kind of like unfolds at the end scene. And he paints the city so vividly that this is like the companion novel to the city RPG that he and I are working on. So this is like an classic Ed novel, man. What more can you say? The guy's done so many great ones in his career. International bestseller. And then that brings us to Vergesa the Firewolf, the saga of Vergesa the Firewolf. So this is my project with Vincent Pompetti. And Vergesa is one of our Fate of the Norns main heroines. She's almost like an anti-hero in some cases, in some of the plot arcs. And so she first appeared in Denizens of the North as a harbinger of things to come in the second age of Ragnarok. And she is a heroine whose destiny is tied up with Loki's. And she is finding clues that are being left throughout the world by Angrboda, which is Loki's mistress, the mother of Fenrir, Hel, and Jormungandr. So, and the graphic novel we've chosen is going to marry one of her story arcs with one of the adventures that we have published. So she's going to be adventuring through that adventure in this graphic novel. So you get kind of like how does that adventure play out very visually, and with one of our main characters going through it. And so there'll be many more stories with her in there because she's like a fan favorite. She was actually also a guest appeared in the novel of Scythe and Sword that Chris Chalice wrote. So she was a secondary character that came through that story arc as well. And we painted her backstory together and revealed it on how she was tied into the Finnish mythos when she was younger, much younger. So it's she's a very, very interesting character. So I can't wait to bring more and more of her chapters.
And the art is just absolutely like I am stunned. Like every time I've seen anything from it, I'm just like, I'm sorry, is this like a Marvel comic here? Like what's going on? Like the quality is amazing. Like the expressions are fantastic. The color palette and like I love the I don't know what you call it, but like it's like the vibrant reds and like
let me see if I can pop it up on our stream.
It's just absolutely fantastic. And on that note, we're going to have him actually on stream, and Andrew and I are going to struggle our way through a little bit of en français on Sunday as we basically do a little bit of a Q&A, and we get to talk with Vincent because he actually is
he's Italian but from France.
Oh, my bad. Italian from France.
He's Italian from France, and he's got, I think, a functional English. We've spoken English, but I think he'll be a lot more at ease in French. So we're going to try to do our first fireside chat in French on Sunday, and then I think YouTube has that algorithm where they will auto subtitle in English. So it's crazy how technology is like.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching this video in another language, and look at this AI just immediately subtitling this in English for me.
A little terrifying, but at the same time, I think it's also pretty good. Like I only say it's terrifying because I work in IT, and I'm just like that means the machines understand me that well now, huh? Like whatever language I'm speaking. But my French is so bad that I should be fine. So
we'll see. You'll break the algorithm.
Exactly. Like, this is my goal. I want to break YouTube with just my French. Watch me go. Like jokes aside, my French is pretty good. I've heard Andrew speak French, and it was definitely French, so I think we'll be okay. And with us as well will be Joe Guy, who's been with us before.
I just covered
absolutely fantastic. I don't need to exist. That art can like replace me. Boom. I am perfectly fine.
Right here for our chat viewers. This is the cover for Against the Firewolf. Right here
it's between just like us. The contrast in color is just so good. So
here's the thing that really, really just knocked me flat on my ass. I met him in Montreal when he came by for a comic book convention, and he was signing his autograph on some of the books for the fans. And you know how like your comic book artist will just like sign the book and just hand it to you? He had a whole set of paints next to him. And he would paint something inside the book for the person and then write something and sign and give it to you. And that's what he did for my son Raph. Like he's got like a painted interior, like a hand painted thing with a written dedication and signature. Like he just goes the extra mile.
That's basically what I'm hearing here. That's amazing. That's dedication. That's someone who's passionate about their art. That is just I wish I had one iota of his art skills, just but hey, I know how to draw a pretty good stick man, okay, like and I could draw the occasional tic-tac-toe line in a straight line properly, and I've at least made a proper circle once in my life, so I'd say I'm
but you've crafted many an amazing adventure in Ragnarok.
This is true. And yes. I actually might start doing something more, but I won't talk about that right now. So, all right. So that's everything that's in the Kickstarter.
Besides
talk
the
about.
RPG, right? So that's the 5 non-RPG items, and then plus we've got an RPG that's
Yeah,
getting kickstarted. So
which is based
that was
off of
kind of
the.
my. I was on the fence. Like, where do I categorize this Kickstarter? Do we put this under games or do we put this under literature? Because we've got 5 literary works inside this Kickstarter, but we've also got this amazingly huge RPG box that's going in there
So,
too.
what did you choose in the end?
It was games because I figured that anyone who's going to be looking for games, like as a gamer, is never going to think to go look in the literary category on Kickstarter.
That
But
makes sense.
I think people that are looking for literature will cross over into tabletop gaming to see like what kind of stuff is there. Because I've seen a lot of people that go to conventions that don't game that pick up like the novels that are our booth and things like
I
that,
remember
right?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like we've literally I've had conversations with them. They're like, I do you guys have anything that's not like, complicated? And like, I have books. And they're like, yeah, okay, what's in the books? Stories. They're like, what? Like that's the first table. Like that one over there had like 20-sided dice, and I was scared of them. That one over there had like weird like triangle things, like and it's like you guys just got like the shinies and like actual literature. I remember that, and it's so yeah, it's definitely a thing, and it makes a lot of sense, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, just because we're also really known for our RPG. We're known for basically a lot of our RPG stuff, so I think that's good. Now, I did want to bring up one thing though. What I see, we have a nice little list of stretch goals. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Um, Michelle, not wanting to be outdone by Steven, because Steven's already on his second book in the Fate of the Norns universe, was like, "What's this? Steven's on his second book." He goes, "All right, I've given you a Mindel manuscript. I'm already starting on book 2." So I wrote a mysterious book by Michelle, but she's already spoiled it on social media, so the cat's out of the bag. It's book 2 of Mindel's Misadventures that's already in the
Yeah,
works. So that's in the
I need to
stretch
finish
goals.
reading the first one at this point. That's what I'm hearing.
I have 2 books. I only listed 1 in that, but I've got 2 other books that are in stretch goals. And this is why I really needed Andy on with that saga to give me a hand, because I am going to be stretched so thin for this Kickstarter. Not just,
And you're already stretched pretty thin at this point.
yeah, 3 projects before the stretch goals. Because we've got our lovely audience here, I'm going to give some spoilers because our audience has tuned in to listen to us. But you guys got the exclusive scoop here. We're not dropping this anywhere else. So one of the books that I'm going to be putting into the stretch goals is been asked for and asked for and asked for ever since we released the Celtic Tarot. So that Celtic Tarot deck came out. Everyone was like, "Where the hell is the companion book on how we read the Celtic Tarot? How do we interpret the Oghams, the Celtic runes? What do these characters mean? How do we do divination? How do we use this for gaming?" And so we've got a book already for the Elder Futhark runes that I wrote called Diviner, and that's bundled part of Odin's Path, which is something you guys are going to start seeing on the road as we come to conventions, because this is brand new. So this will be showcased at PAX Unplugged, which we're going to be at in start of December.
All
Um,
right.
but we're going to be doing a similar book. So in here, you've got like a bag of runes, but you also have a book I wrote, a small little booklet, but it's got everything you need to interpret the runes, do some divination, and also use it for gaming if you wanted to.
Yeah, it looks like it could even fit in your pocket. It's an absolutely fantastic idea, Andrew. I'm very proud of you.
It's
It's a
all
great
you,
idea.
Aaron. You and Flo were like the ones that were like, "Come on, pocket edition. We want a small little
Pocket
booklet."
edition, everything.
Yep.
Core Rulebook Pocket Edition. Let's go. Like,
I'm actually considering it for the box set. For the city box set Athgoliath is actually to do digest size booklets rather than full size booklets.
it would make a lot of sense, and like, especially like, I don't know, like I'm someone with like like a weird attention span, so having a focused book where I can literally just find the basic rules of everything right there and there makes a lot of sense to me. And even if I don't have the actual like classes or anything in there, and I just have the mechanics of how things work, it makes a lot of sense. And it would also, I'd get distracted by the shiny, the beautiful art every single time, because that happens to me. Like every single time it happens. Oh God, this book is so pretty. Oh wait, no, I'm looking for a rule. I'm sorry. So it's like...
That's one of the books. The other book that I was going to do in there, which is very close to your heart, is the first literary book of War of Shadow. So this is the book that kind of is like the Illuminated Edda or the Celtic Cyclopedia of what is the Third Age of Ragnarok, the war between the Leos and the Svardalfar. So the War of Shadow art book. So it's just going to be the stories and the beautiful art between the light and dark elves. And so Julianne is kind of very busy on that right now. She has been churning out the artwork for that book. So we are there for the stretch goals. Next, the stretch goals, you will see a ton, and that's not everyone. This is just the people that are like, yes, I have an idea, and this is what the idea is for the city adventure. But we have a ton of guest industry authors and game designers that have said yes to writing sagas. These are very short, one-shot sagas for an evening that are going to be very accessible and put into the box, the Athcliath box. So when you get the City RPG box, you're going to get a bunch of single-page, double-sided adventure, but written by someone like a Luke Gygax or a...
we got Phil Mercado. We got Professor Dungeon Master. Who else? Michelle wasn't doing one. So
no.
Book. Ed Burrell, I think.
Ed Burrello, yeah. So several people that we've already had on the Fireside chat.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm starting to know. Like, there's Jay there. Jay and Sonia is another one. Mr. Anarchy, hello. We got Alex Kramer. All right. Yeah. Brian Neff. Okay. All right. So, and Ben McFarlane. I wanted to say everyone. I think that's everyone. Did I miss anyone? I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anyone. No, I think that's everyone.
There might be more. So there's more that aren't on there, right? That we're talking with behind the scenes. So, so this is going to be very, very exciting because each one of these people has their... We chose people from across the tabletop space. So some of these people are just story board games, but they do board games. They don't do RPGs. Some people do party games like Drinking Quest, but have stories behind them. Again, narrative, right? It's not just like a Splendor, a game that's very mechanical, right? And then
I hope he writes a Drunken Bender. Because it would be a Drunken Quest in Fate of the Norns. I'm just saying.
I already have a story arc. He sent it to me, and it's awesome. And then there's people that have worked with a White Wolf, so they'll probably bring some dark horror themes to Athcliath. So people are going to bring their stamp to the city. And that's going to be really, really interesting to see. Is these one-shot adventures that you can pick up and play, and we want them to be completely non-intimidating. That's why they have to be one page, and that's the challenge to our guest writers. Is some of the guest writers were like, "You mean a 10,000-word adventure?" And I'm like, "No, 1,000-word, and your max is like 2,000. Stop you! Like we just truncate everything after 2,000,
right? That word count, page count.
Yeah.
So that's actually really interesting. Okay, no. Anyway, okay, noted.
Yeah, so this is going to be really, really fun. And so, and we'll have more to announce. So we'll see how far we go. And that's why, chat, we would love for you guys to, share our project on social media, because I know it's we launched it, I think, at a very, very bad time during Thanksgiving week when everyone was, on the road and not checking social media. So it was kind of like a pretty, probably...
also right next to Boxing Day and all that. Not Boxing Day,
Black Friday, yeah. So we just need to boost the signal for the next 2.5 weeks. So we've only been out for 72 hours. I think it's been 3 days.
Halfway through. So we're actually more than halfway through now. I just checked. So we're doing pretty good. For 3 days, I think 11K is pretty good. So
not bad.
Yeah.
So let's take some questions from the audience too, guys. So if you have any questions about the Kickstarter or anything else, we're here for you. Like I said, we were supposed to have Phil Mercado on tonight. I hope everything's okay, because I didn't receive a message from him, which is kind of unusual. We'll try to reschedule them for another evening, but for tonight, we just wanted to go live because we said there'd be a stream, and we'll talk with you guys.
Yeah, we love seeing y'all beautiful faces. Don't have to be shy.
Aaron, what are you most excited about in this Kickstarter? Now that you know it so well.
Honestly, I have to say it's going to be the I'm so bad with names. It's one of the comics, like the
Airbus Saga.
Thank you. I'm bad with words.
Yeah, that one's a tough one to pronounce.
Airbus Saga is like super duper exciting for me. I'm a huge fan of comedy. I'm a huge fan of comics, and this is a comedic comedy comic, which I said wrong, and I just said technically 3 words for funny things, but that's besides the point. And so it's really interesting to me. I love the art style. I love the exaggerated expressions. I love, honestly, just the cover art on its own with like the head tilt to me is just so interesting. And especially now that you said it was Andy who's going to be joining on that. Yeah, so especially that here at Andy, and like, I had such a good talk with them, I'm actually super excited even more. And it's like, to me, it's just something that's definitely going to be like a pride and joy. I'm going to like force it on other people's, like, you should read this. Like the little bit I've seen already, it's really up my alley. But if I were to like follow it up with close second, I'm definitely going to say it's Mindel. Like, Mindel is like super duper exciting for me as well. I love a good Pratchett-esque story, and the bit I've written already makes me already want to throw my money at it. So like, it's pretty awesome.
Beautiful.
And I've actually already been bothered by a few of my friends who are like, hey, if you're playtesting that city that is coming out, and you're looking for people, hey friend, what's up? How you doing? I am a player, and I would love to play something written by Mr. Ed Greenwood in a Viking-based universe about a city that essentially is extremely cutthroat. So that's definitely catching my eye. I mean, I would actually be really down to run it. It's just more about finding the time to run things, because there are only so many hours in the day.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's crazy, especially now that we're running a Kickstarter. It's like half of my day is just answering questions and making sure that we've got our banners running. Crush the banners on. So there's just like tons of stuff. It's just like it's in and out of the brain. Like, oh yeah, Ed asked me 2 days ago for like social media images to post. I'm like, oh crap, that was 2 days ago. But yeah, there's just so much going on right now, and we're still just dealing with all kinds of like shipping logistics, and we're trying to prep ourselves for PAX Unplugged. So all the rules are changing for PAX Unplugged. Canada said they are going to waive the COVID test. Really? Back across the border if you're there 72 hours or less. Like, damn it, we're just over 72 hours. So they're going to be there for like 80, 85 hours. So it's like, oh, that sucks. So Ken and I are going to have to spring for like the expensive test on the way back. We have to schedule it ahead of time, otherwise we're stuck in the States.
Yep. And, definitely. Like, I wish I could have joined you guys, and like,
I know, I wish so too. That would have been awesome.
It sucks, but like, I can't risk being trapped in the States. Like, I already have a hard enough time going there as is, but it's just like with the whole thing, and it's just like, especially your experience that you had previously.
I was stuck for 2.5 extra days there. That was crazy.
It just sounds absolutely horrible. Like, luckily you had such nice people who were there to help you and like give you the support that you needed at that time.
Shout out to Ken and Jay. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's just too scary. But I'm hoping, like, as the year goes on, things have been getting better collectively, that I might be able to sneak in. We can go to a con like old time's sake, and just, it would be nice to catch up with people. There's a lot of people in the States I miss. I haven't seen Rich in almost 2 years. Like, I miss my family. I miss my con
fan.
And yeah, and like, I mean, the con plague is a lot more dangerous nowadays, I guess, but like,
it's not just a flu at this point. And there's a new variant. I just started this morning. That was in the news. There's a new crazy triple mutagenic thing out of South Africa that is like, everyone's quarantining flights out of South Africa, and it's already like popped up in the UK and Singapore, I think, and maybe Israel. And so, like, who knows what the hell happens in the next 2 weeks. So, geez, I really just hope the borders don't get shut down or something. That's going to really hose us for PAX Unplugged.
Well, we can just hope for the best,
Yep.
and like I'm sure if it comes to it, they're going to be really understanding of the situation. It's just like it's no one's fault, right? But we have Rich, we have a bunch of people in the States, so they can definitely cover for us, and we'll still have a presence no matter what, guys.
Yep.
But like it's just if you wanted to meet the great Valkuku himself, then I'm sorry, that's a possible risk of it all. But you know what? We're gonna wish for the best. I'm gonna, basically make my sacrifices to Odin, and when I must, and I'll go get a goat sometime next week, and at
Ooh.
that point, we can
Ooh, we can
just
make some
pray for
goat
the best.
curry after the sacrifice. That'd be
Well, look, if
amazing.
you're sacrificing it, you can't eat it. That's the point of sacrificing it. It's not your
Oh,
goat; it's Odin's goat.
I know, but Odin shares. Come on, Valhalla. He doesn't take all
I
the
mean,
meat for
he is
himself.
the all dad, so you know what? He probably would. He would
He'll
be
say,
like, "All
"Come
right,
on, you get a little vindaloo, you get a little vindaloo, and all of you get some vindaloo."
it's just a vindaloo for everyone. That's it.
Exactly.
That's what the all dad is known for. His sharing and compassion. Totally not for setting bridges on fire and taking what he wants. But yeah, you're
It's the
completely right.
garam masala, baby. Um, and then we also have a scheduled game on Saturday night. So I promised a private game at our hotel lobby for a gang that's scheduled. So that's another reason to try to make it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, if at all powers be, we're gonna do everything we can to make our presence. You're gonna do everything. We'll sneak you over the border. We'll charter our own plane if we have to. We'll figure it out. If you're a government official listening to this, I promise that is a joke. I mean that in no official capacity, and you do not need to look into us. But like
Nice.
it really is just it's such a weird world, man.
Yeah, it
But
is.
yeah, at least we're keeping safe to the best of our abilities, and a lot of people I know are doing their best. So we just got to play with the hand that we're dealt, right?
Cool. Chat, where are you guys going to be? What conventions are you guys going to? Curious. Is everyone still going to conventions, or are you guys still staying virtual? Because I know there are some people that are still staying away. There's some conventions that don't have, like, let's say, mask mandates or double vax mandates. A lot of people are just saying, nope, no dice, and not going. I'm
Well,
curious.
it's hard. Like I know also like a lot of conventions they have like very specific different rules. Like for example, across the country, even here in Canada,
Yeah,
like there's like some laxer rules that are currently going on. Though they're kind of dealing with floods, so like they might be swimming in it, if you will. But yeah,
it's really bad out in BC. It's really, really bad. I mean, I think it's like
I have some family over
biblical.
there.
This is the year of biblical plagues. So
Yep.
BC had the highest temperature ever recorded, I think, in Canada this
Yeah,
year, which was, I
like
think,
it
what,
was
50
literally on
degrees
fire for a
Celsius.
while.
Yeah, it was 50 degrees Celsius, which is like a heat wave in India. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
comparable to
Mm-hmm.
an incredible heat wave in India, which was in Canada, in BC. And then there were tons of forest fires. So, well, they always have forest fires, I think, in BC, but
Yeah, but
it's
like
like
this
California. There's
experience.
always something burning. But yeah, it's like inordinate amount of stuff was burning.
Yeah.
And then they had like torrential rains and mudslides and it was
They
nuts.
had like they also I think like a year ago had the murder hornets over there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like I don't know. They have not been having a lot of luck over there, and I just have to say of my family who decided to move there, haha, I chose the right side of the country. But like it's I'm happy to be in the Canadian Shield. I mean I'm happy where I am right now, but it's still it's really weird in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, we got
Um,
a chat question. What's the
what's the
topic of discussion? I don't know a lot of things, but I can pretend. So, if you popped in late, we had a guest, Phil, that was supposed to join us, Phil Brucato from White Wolf fame. But I don't know, something happened. We didn't hear from him, so hopefully everything's okay. We're going to try to reschedule the fireside chat with him. But we decided to go live anyway, so Aaron and I are just shooting the shit. We went over the Kickstarter and all the stuff that we've got in the Ultimate Viking Anthology. And now we're just talking about conventions. Which conventions are you guys going to in chat, and which ones we're going to, and then where are we going to Viking? Exactly.
Yeah, all right. So you know a Viking. What Viking do you know? I might know them too. We have the weekly thing.
Hey, 4K.
That's someone else.
Oh, that's someone else. Sweet
Just some guy from Norway.
Norway flag.
I mean, Is he truly a Viking if he does not plunder, though? That is the
There
great
must be
question.
some sort of
It's a
plundering.
philosophical question. Though, from my perspective, if you pirate movies, you can still consider yourself a Viking. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I did not say that. Don't pirate things. You should buy them. So, like,
MP3s, downloading illegal
plundering the
MP3s.
snacky cupboard. Yeah, that
That
counts.
works.
Straight up counts. I've did a little bit of that plundering today, and I'm regretting it
Uh-oh.
because I'm gonna have to lose those gains that I just got. But that's fine.
I
But
have to go walk through the forest. Yeah, I did a little bit of hunting today. Took
oh yeah,
Raph
what did
out
you
for
have?
the first time for a little hunt. He's gone out a little bit for just target practice, but we took him out for partridge hunting today. We had a nice long walk up and down a mountain with a friend of ours. Came up empty, but we did startle one partridge that flew off. But it was a tough day, and a pear tree, of course.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, but he
Yes,
got
the natural Canadian pear trees. Okay, well, that sounds fun. I mean, I mostly just fixed computers today, if I'm being completely honest. But
yeah.
I did go for a nice walk at 6 in the morning, and I got to enjoy a nice, like, we actually just had our first snow of the year, which is ridiculous
First,
in my perspective. Well, okay, correct. I'm sorry, I don't live in the woods like you, Andrew. Okay, Mister, I live out in the wilderness.
gotta be
Okay,
like
I live in a
third or
city.
fourth by now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, excuse me. So
Tropics
we
of
had our first
Montreal.
snow here. I got this beautiful, nice smog fog kind of going on this morning, and honestly, it gave me the vibes that I was out because in the area I am, I have this nice little foresty area right by the water, and so like looking out over the water, I could see like little lights that kind of like look like flames. So overall, it's pretty
Someone lives in a
good.
desert, and they'll trade it for some snow. Well, I can tell you, the older I'm getting, the more I crave the desert every freaking like fall. End of fall, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, just like I need the heat, man. I'm gonna be one of those like retire into Florida or somewhere in like Mexico.
See, honestly, I never want to leave the cold. Never. I love it. I adore it. I'm angry that we don't have more of it. Honestly, like I am literally. I was complaining with my uncle like a week ago. I'm like, "What is this inch of snow?" When I was a kid, when I was a young man, there was snow up to my ankles. And he's
You
like,
were
"Yeah, but you were
short.
smaller." And I'm like, "How dare you?" Being so right.
So where are you in the desert? I'm curious. Where do you live that's in the desert? Arizona or Egypt? Like where are you at in the world?
Arizona, Egypt.
Egypt, Arizona. El
El
Paso, Texas.
Paso.
Yeah, we're looking for another convention in Texas. So we used to love going to PAX South in San Antonio.
Mm.
That was one of our favorite conventions. But unfortunately, ReedPop, the owners of PAX, canceled PAX South. They said the numbers weren't big enough. Baloney. The numbers were big enough. It was a great show. So what would you recommend in the southern states there? So Texas, Arizona. We're trying to get down to more into like the south and the western portion. We've done the East Coast a lot because we're from the East. We're kind of just working our way across North America. So what would you recommend as a good substitute for PAX South if you know the conventions out there? We're all ears for that.
I also noticed something else as you mentioned your next station. So what I'm hearing is this like an army type thing, or I'm kind of curious. Ha.
There you go.
Well, whereabouts in the army, if you don't mind me asking? 17 years. Jeez, I thought I had a lot of IT experience. Okay, you've done your tenure, literally 10-year plus. So like
Nice.
all right, nice. Well,
Oh,
thank
thank you
you.
for your service.
Yeah. Much
Yeah, in
appreciated.
this day and age, man, with all the uncertainty, it's one of those places that you don't know when you get called upon. I've got
Yeah.
quite a few friends that served, and yeah, it's sad when I hear the stories about the VA when they need like medical, and the VA just treats them like they're scammers, like they're making up the symptoms and stuff like that. And it's sad. Sad. It should be no questions asked. You went and served. You put your life on the line.
Yeah.
Pay for the medical. Feels now weird that the wars are over. Well, Join the French Foreign Legion. Apparently, for those guys, it's never over, man. The French send the Legion everywhere. They're always in a war. It's crazy. I knew one guy that was in the Legion, and this guy was just that it was constantly being sent somewhere. France needed like anti-terrorism somewhere. The French Foreign Legion was sent in. They needed shock troops sent somewhere, like first line. They were sent in first. It was crazy.
To your comment about making a new one soon enough, it is a business, if you will, I suppose.
But war is a racket.
I mean, I believe there was a song about what are they good for, but I mean, the economy typically, historically,
usually.
But like,
a lot of people get rich from wars, but we have so many. What was it? Black Sabbath, War Pigs,
and then that's a completely different.
And then CCR. Fortunate Son. So many songs written about, all the war profiteers.
And even then, they're technically profiting off it too, the concept, if you really want to be really deep and philosophical about it. Yeah.
The rock
Philosophical Bagel Man hour. Here we go. But yeah, nonetheless, do appreciate that. Like, stuff's never, anything like that is never easy. So
yeah,
it's... So what else? I don't know if you're into any kind of Viking RPGs or anything like that, but I will post a little Kickstarter link for you right here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Battlery, check us out.
If you're interested, we're currently having a Kickstarter going on. It has about 6 different books in it. 6 minimum, actually, but it's
way more to come.
Stretch goals and the route we're going, it's going to be a lot more. And we're basically, it's a Viking based RPG that uses runes instead of dice. So if you're interested at all, check us out. So, oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Crawford was Dr. Crawford. I have to be correct on that. Dr. Crawford was absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping we can actually see him again. Just I'm curious. I have questions for him. I've been writing a list slowly but surely. And,
well, he said he wants to come back on. So yeah, we talked. I'm still waiting for his book to arrive in the mail. It's probably lost or somewhere in Cincinnati, probably the next month or so.
It's probably going to get shipped to the Yukon, and then somehow end up back to you because that's like the easier route. But
exactly.
That's how it works.
Yeah, so on that note, I've also got to finish my Saga of Hedrick the Wise that I started. So I did the first half at the end of the Illuminated Edda, and I've been working on the second half, but that's kind of been thrown in 8 different directions with so many projects going on right now. The newest book, his newest book is what I have ordered. And we've got a whole bunch of Viking books also in the works here. And if you're into Celtic mythology, that's another one that we've got. We've gone down the rabbit hole. So we have the Celtic Cyclopedia, which kind of summarizes things like the Mabinogion and the Lebor so a lot of sources, kind of very similar to the Eddas, right? So the prose and poetic Eddas, but for the Celtic mythology. So it's a really, really fun and interesting read. That's kind of a nice sister mythology.
So we are approaching the last 10 minutes of our stream. So if anyone has any questions, now is the time to send them, as otherwise I'm going to put Andrew back in the basement that we keep him in and basically chain it back up and get him back to work, whipping the door on the occasion to remind him that he has to keep working, and and we'll slide sandwiches under the door to keep him fed, of course.
Sandwiches?
Yes, you get sandwiches, half sandwiches, because the top piece of bread doesn't make it through, so it's really just like the plate and like the bottom half of the sandwich. But it's sustenance. You survive.
To fight the rats.
I do need to send you some light bulbs from the look of it, though.
No, I like it dark in here. I always kill the lights before.
Yeah, he likes it. It makes him look nice and like blended into his background and like a floating head.
Yes. It's the mood. Yeah, this is how the Edda got written. Kind of like music running in the background. All my tables full of manuscripts and whatnot. Lots and lots of writing fueled by lots and lots of Aberfeldy.
I mean, hey, it's the fuel of the gods, my man.
Isn't it? Isn't it though? Good scotch. It'll take you so far. It's
please,
true.
please
Yeah, we got to get in
sponsor.
touch with Aberfeldy.
Please, please. I actually might know a guy now I think about it. I
You
didn't think
do?
of that. Yeah, I do.
That's another
I know.
Kickstarter. The Fate of the
Yes,
Norns Scotch. Well, it'd be a
please.
whiskey because we're not in Scotland.
We do like one barrel, so
Yes,
and like basically, dude, yeah.
flavored with
I
old
don't know how
parchments
legal.
from RPGs.
It might need to be an Indiegogo, but get a partnership with a whiskey company. Yeah, that's the plan. I know a whiskey company, so they might be
I got
down.
parts of a still in my shed. I need to like get the rest, get something going. But well, we need a license, but it's getting easier and easier here
Yeah,
in Quebec to get licenses. So to brew beer or wine is like super easy, and spirits is
yeah,
getting easier and easier. So
yeah. I used to
yes,
actually make a little bit of. I've made my own ale before. Yeah, so I can say that, right? Yeah, I can.
yeah,
Okay, so it's like as long as I wasn't selling it, that's the important part. So,
just get a partnership with a whiskey company.
I
Yeah,
mean, if you know any whiskey companies that are looking, you hit me up. But I think I know one here that would actually maybe be interested.
yeah,
And
we
I mean,
could
as long as we we
for the
do
branding. Exactly,
we do drink on this stream, so it's
a
not
little
a
bit.
bad idea. Just the occasional, like one of us might drink for the entire team because he's that's that team spirit he got. But I believe in him and his ability to carry his weight. When it comes to the drinking,
I
I say here with my cup of water.
apple juice.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely apple juice. Yeah, yeah.
I used to make my own absinthe back in the day,
Mm.
and that one
Oh man.
was a challenge because one of the things that I couldn't find back in the 90s was easy access to wormwood. And wormwood is that psychoreactive substance that not only makes it stupidly bitter, but gives you all the hallucinations and everything else in the whole process. So
The
I
poison, if you will.
poison exactly, yes. You are poisoning yourself with it because it actually is hard on the kidneys and liver. But
Mhm.
finding it, I was spending months just trying to go around this like Montreal, trying to look for different types of importers of teas and herbs. And where do I end up finding? Like as the exhaustive search continues, the amount I'm willing to spend on this just keeps going up because I'm just like the stuff's impossible to find. I'm willing to pay like $100 for an ounce. It's like it's going up $500 for an ounce. And then I get to someone goes, "Did you try the local witchcraft shop?" And I'm like, "Witchcraft shop?" And like, go to Mélange Magique. So I go down to Mélange Magique. I'm like walking in with a white T-shirt and jeans. Everyone in there is dressed in black, with like black fingernails, like just full on goth. I walk in, they're all like, and I look around. I find this one little like rack that's got all these little pouches around it. I'm spinning it around. Lo and behold, pouch, 100% wormwood. I look at it. It's a whole pouch for like $3. I just emptied out the entire rack, like everything. I go right to the cashier. I'm like, "I'll take this." And she looks at me with a wry smile. She's like, "Someone's making absinthe, aren't they?"
911. Hello. I mean, hey, like if you have any bottles of those, I'm more than happy to
No,
compensate.
I start producing it when, because I was just like making it for myself and my friends, and then I started selling it to my friends of my friends. But then when friends of my friends of my friends of my friends of my friends started showing up at my door, I was like, it's just a matter of time before the RCMP knocks on my door. And I was
And they're
like,
like, "Hey, we
I'm
want a
done.
bottle too."
I'm done. I'm out. The word has spread too much of this stuff. So yeah, that's the operation had to cease back in the 90s. So
Yes, the awesome Andrews absinthe. Yes, yes, yes. Well, I think that is going to be it for tonight. So,
yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
yeah, and I mean, it was a bit of a shorter episode. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. Sorry, my
Full
bad. I
hour.
lied.
Look
I
at
am a
us.
liar.
We can shoot this shit easy.
Apparently, it's like we've been doing this for a few weeks now, and we're actually good at it. Whoa, crazy! So,
Sunday, we have a special episode. Let's remind
yes,
everyone.
we
We
do.
have Vincent on, and it's at a special time at 4 p.m. because he is on France time. That's going to be like 10 p.m. for him or something. So 4 p.m. our time, Eastern time.
And
And
It will be en français. Donc, si tu peux pas parler en français, désolé. Donc, c'est vraiment pour les personnes qui, bon, parlent en français ou comprennent le français. Mais quand c'est sur YouTube, when it is on YouTube, sorry, I was in French mode. When it is on YouTube, we will have translations and basically subtitles for those of us who don't speak French, and for those of you who don't want to listen to my horribly broken French. But nonetheless, do join us on Sunday. You all have a great night, and, well, Skull!
Skål!